Imagine a giant war fleet moving slowly across a vast ocean. Will it be defeated? Watch the explanation on the Know the Military YouTube channel. At the center of the formation stood the giant aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. At over 330 meters long, the ship is almost as big as 3 football fields put together. But what makes it scary is not just its size. What really makes the military world respect this fleet is the extraordinary protection system that surrounds it. This fleet is known as Carrier Strike Group. And to this day, many military analysts believe that this force is one of the most difficult combat systems to beat on the planet. Why? Because attacking a carrier strike group means facing seemingly endless layers of defense. First layer, eye in the sky. Before the enemy even gets close to the fleet, they are already detected by advanced radar aircraft such as the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye. This aircraft is capable of seeing hundreds of kilometers in all directions. This means that any aircraft or missile that tries to approach will almost certainly be hit. Already known long before reaching the target. Once a threat is detected, fighter aircraft such as the F-35C Lightning II and F/A-18 Super Hornet will be immediately launched from the carrier deck. At supersonic speeds, they become first line of defense, which stops the enemy far from the fleet. Second layer, missile wall at sea. If the threat still managed to get close, they would face the warships guarding the fleet's perimeter. One of the most famous is the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. This ship is equipped with a super sophisticated radar system called the Aegis Combat System. This system is capable of tracking hundreds of targets simultaneously and directly directing missiles to destroy them. Missiles like the RIM-174 Standard Missile-6 can hit aircraft, drones, and even ballistic missiles at incredible speeds. In other words, before the enemy reaches the aircraft carrier, they must pass through air defense missile rain. The third layer, the last line of defense. But modern militaries always prepare for the worst-case scenario. If a missile manages to get past all previous defenses, the fleet still has last-line weapon. One of the most famous systems is the Phalanx CIWS. This weapon is an automatic cannon capable of firing thousands of bullets per minute. In a matter of seconds, this system can create steel bullet wall to destroy approaching missiles. The invisible threat. But the carrier strike group's strength doesn't just come from the skies and seas. Beneath the waves, nuclear submarines like the Virginia-class submarine move silently. These submarines can monitor areas hundreds of kilometers around the fleet. If enemy warships or submarines try to approach, they could be attacked without ever knowing where the attack is coming from. This submarine can even launch cruise missiles such as the Tomahawk cruise missile, which is capable of hitting targets thousands of kilometers away. Connected war system. But the carrier strike group's biggest secret isn't just its weapons numbers. What makes this fleet so powerful is integrated sensor and communication network. Every ship, plane, radar, and satellite is interconnected. If one radar detects a threat, the entire fleet knows immediately. In just a few seconds, the defense system can determine who shot, when shot, and where shot from. In other words, carrier strike groups do not fight as separate ships. They fought as one giant combat system. The moving military city. Another thing that makes the carrier strike group so extraordinary is that the scale of its power. One aircraft carrier alone can carry more than 60 fighter jets. Thousands of military personnel work in it. When combined with escort ships, this fleet can carry hundreds of missiles and dozens of defense systems. Many military analysts even refer to the carrier strike group as a military city that moves on the ocean. Why is it almost impossible to defeat? To destroy a carrier strike group is very difficult. The enemy must be able to penetrate air patrols, avoid long-range radar, bypassing warship missile defenses, survive close-range defense systems, and avoid submarines hiding under the sea. All of that must be done simultaneously. That is why to this day, the Carrier Strike Group is still considered symbol of global military domination. Not only because of the power of the weapon, but because this fleet is the most complex combination of technology, strategy, and military coordination ever created by humans. And as long as fleets like these continue to sail the oceans, one thing remains clear. Facing the Carrier Strike Group is not just a battle. For many countries, it is almost impossible mission.